A trailblazer and a philanthropist at the Braves Club, Campbell earned his bachelor's degree from UNC Pembroke in 1968. Owner of Campbell Oil and Gas Company, Campbell has served in various positions at UNCP, including a 4-year term on the Board of Trustees, UNCP Football Advisory Board, and President of the Braves Club. The 2019 UNCP Distinguished Service Award recipient, Campbell also was instrumental in the renovations to the baseball and softball complex for the Black and Gold, as well as the Campbell Wellness Center, which has helped develop one of the top athletic training facilities at the Division II level.
I was really shocked to be asked, very honored, of course, and humbled to the point when I first got the call. I don't know that I really accepted it because I was so stunned to be considered. Obviously, it's an honor with all the people that I've known over the years who have gone into the Hall of Fame. I didn't feel like that I was in that category, but like I say, it is a tremendous honor. I love the university and just love athletics. Always have and always will. Always unreal, the change that's happened, since 1968 especially, from the small campus to 800, 900 people that we had on campus at that time. And athletics, of course, back in those days, we were NAIA, and we've progressed forward. UNC Pembroke has always had a history of a strong athletic program that it would hang its hats on. Back in those days, it was baseball primarily and basketball also, Coach Kane. But it's really grown into a very relevant university. Adding football was probably the catalyst, I think, that sort of put Pembroke over the edge as far as athletics and recognition that goes along with it. So it's really grown. Well, a lot to do with the people who are associated with the university, the people that I've gotten to know, the folks that have graduated from here and gone out in their communities and been successful. Most of my classmates, or a lot of my classmates, I should say, went into the teaching profession and ended up teaching all my kids in school, all the way through high school. And there are, like I say, a lot of successful people that have graduated from here. Well, obviously I want to thank the selection committee and the individuals who nominated me, because obviously without that I wouldn't be sitting here talking to you today. But and the committee who voted to give me this honor and recognize me. I'm totally overwhelmed. Feel somewhat inadequate, if you know the truth, compared if you look at the wall of all the great people who have been a part of this university who are on that wall today. I'm very honored to be selected to be with them.
When I think of Matt Campbell, the best qualities you can think of from a leadership book pop into your head. He's a great friend. He's unbelievably genuine, highest of integrity, super selfless, humble, even with everything they've accomplished as a company and as an individual. He's just always looking at the contribution of others. He sees the work our coaches put in, sees the work that comes at the university, and he proactively reaches out and tries to say, hey, how can I support you? It's just, you don't find that very often. Mac is deserving of this induction. In my opinion, the category was probably created for that type of person that he is. While he was not a student athlete here, even back to his days, as an undergrad, he was close with the athletic program. When he reconnected with the university, from that moment on, he was all in. And if you look at that 30-year period, there's not an accolade that goes by that Mac didn't have a huge hand in, whether it was through financial support or just being a sounding board for the athletic directors at the time, myself included, supporting tough decisions, finding ways to help recruit coaches. He is the definition of why you have a special inductee category. Well, if I had the chance to talk to Mac about it, which hopefully I will many times, it's just letting him know how deserving this is, because I think his humility will get in the way of letting him fully enjoy and appreciate just the impact that he's had. And there's been multiple times that our department was kind of at a precipice or in crisis, and either his counsel or his support in every possible way not only got us through that challenge, but let us get better through it and let our student athletes have a better experience from it. There are thousands and thousands of athletes that owe the quality of their experience to Mac's support and what he does and who he is and how he stayed true to to UNCP. You know, he's got great ties at a number of other institutions, NC State being one of them. And NC State can throw a whole lot more amenities at him than the Braves can. And Mac's loyalty, you know, he loves watching Braves athletics just as much as he does going to the big venues that he gets to go to in Raleigh. And I think that just speaks to who he is and how much he's been true to his upbringing.
A standout pitcher from 1961 to 1964, Powell played for UNCP Hall of Fame coach Dick Lawfer. Powell compiled a 17-6 record on the mound for the Braves during his career. During the 1964 season, Powell led the team with 12 appearances and picked up 7 wins. He posted a 7-0 record and a 0.00 ERA during the regular season of the 1963 season to prove to be one of the best NAIA pitchers.
Well, in the first place, it's a great honor just to be associated with, as I call it, the college, and now it's part of the university system. But whenever I came down, it seemed like the dark ages when it goes back into the 60s. And I'm just elated to be a part of this situation. Memories as teammates. We had a cohesive team. And some of the accomplishments that I had all related to the individuals who were playing behind me. And I thoroughly enjoyed the coaching, the camaraderie of all the team, and we just had a great time. We went off. I would like to think, I guess it started at the top was Coach Dick Lawfer, and then I had Coach Pennington, and then Howard Dean was here at the time, and Howard was quite an inspiration. And even English Jones at the time, he's our president, and I came at the time, Dr. Gale was our president, and then English came on afterwards. And wonderful people, just great people.
Cooter Powell was one of the first pitchers that I saw as a young man in high school. And I saw what he brought to the mound, and I didn't realize he was a knuckleball specialist until later. His main pitch was a knuckleball. And from talking to Ray Brayboy, who I played with later on, he said Cooter had a knuckleball that was unhittable. And the thing about it is, he was also smart. I mean, you think of a person named Cooter, I mean, you figure out he's off the wall a little bit or something, and I don't know where the name Cooter came from, and I didn't realize his name was Richard till I came to Pembroke and started on the baseball team. But Cooter Powell was one of the first pitchers that attracted my eye. I just realized what kind of pitcher he was, and very few times did he lose a ball game. He was just phenomenal. Cooter deserves to be in the Hall of Fame because of his record. He was a leader, but not only that, his stats prove that when you have an ERA of .024 as a senior, and he only lost 2 games that year, which his last 2 ball games when they were in the area tournament. What people don't understand, when the pitcher is basically the leader of the team, and the team follows his direction. If Cooter goes out there and throws a shutout, no runs, the whole team wins. And Cooter did, he was a phenomenal leader, and he loved baseball.
A 5-time All-Conference honoree, Martin qualified for the 1980 Olympic trials in the 400-meter dash. A member of the cross-country and track and field programs, Martin earned NAIA All-District honors in 1979 and 1980. Martin was tabbed as an All-American in the mile relay event following the 1979 season.
What does it mean for me to be into the Hall of Fame? Well, it didn't mean a lot to me in the early years because I was not that kind of person to look at those types of things. But as the years got more and more and I became a little bit older and older, it's something that started resonating where I was like, oh man. And to know that I was selected to be one of the ones to be inducted, great privilege, great honor. From 76 to 80, there were not a lot of things to do. And for what we had to do, we had to make the best of it. So some of the things that we got involved in were some of the governmental jobs. like, the campus student body, president, and so forth and so on. But some of the guys who I would honestly say that pushed me in the direction of doing what I eventually did, they were track guys. Because here at Pembroke, let me tell you, you were limited to what you were able to do. You had a strong soccer, baseball, track and field. And then when you look at all the other sports that were here on campus, it's like, where do I fit in? And my fitting in was track and field, even though that's how I got here. But I almost went to Maryland for football. But all the others I would love to think would be, quite a few people. Of course, McQueen back there, she standing there looking tall. Of course, my family. And then there's some friends that I have along the way from high school. I like to thank them. I won't call any names. And of course, my college friends, because if I start calling names, I'm gonna leave somebody out. Coach Crane, I just remember me coming to this campus, and first thing he said to us, I'm a sprinter, and the first thing he said to us was, all right, you're all on the cross country team. Now cross country for a sprinter, that's not, you don't do that. And I didn't push back. I bought in, and actually the first race in the 400 that I was running, I anticipated locking up, like 150, 160 meters to go. Then all of a sudden, I'm not gonna lock up. So I was able to change gears. And after that race, I ran to Coach Crane and I said, I get it. And that's what the foundation was for the 400 meters.
June Morton was a student athlete. A student athlete means that you were here to, first all, to get an education, second all, to run. June Morton was the type of individual that he was just an all-around guy, great teammate, great for the school, just all-around guy. I met June Morton when I was 19 years old, and June was probably 20, 21. He was a year or two older than I was. June just always had that something about him where you just enjoyed being around June. Like I say again, June was a good teammate. Matter of fact, he was kind of like a second coach or something. At that time, we only had one coach, Dr. Ed Crane, but June was like a coach, not only a coach, a teammate, and just a great all-around guy. Dr. Ed Crane went out and recruited guys that could fit into his system, guys that respected the community, guys that respected the university, guys was gonna win. So when you look at as a team, as a whole, well, when we go to big meets, as young guys was, we kind of scared, laid back. We had never been there before. But, June would always, he was that rah-rah guy, and he was also that guy that got the job done. So he didn't have to say a whole lot, but we just looked up to him, knew when we saw June Morton, everything was going to be okay.
National finalist for the best quarterback on the Division II level in 2013, Charles threw for 71 touchdowns during his time with the Black and Gold. An all-region selection, Charles holds 10 season school records, including pass attempts, pass completions, passing yards, passing touchdowns, pass completion percentage, passing yards in a game, total offense per play, total offense per game, touchdowns responsible for, and total offensive yards. A two-time honorable mention All-American, Charles became the first player in program history to garner postseason All-American nods in multiple seasons.
Well, being inducted into the Athletics Hall of Fame here at Pembroke, first and foremost, just an amazing honor and a true testament to the people that we had on those teams and the coaching staff and just the staff around us, everything in general. Family, the sacrifices we made traveling and everything, and then the hard work that went into it, the many hours that people didn't see. It's a lot of the rewards that I earned throughout my career, the accolades that I got, this is by far the most honoring one and the most rewarding one, because I felt like not only me, but I think we had like 30 seniors that year, but we all put in, just 7 days a week throughout the entire summer, the spring, the coaching staff, long days, long nights, hard work. So it's more a testament to those guys than the guys that are around me, the coaching staff. So it's a very big honor to have this and be inducted into the Hall of Fame, and it means everything, and it's probably the best award that I've ever received. So I'm truly honored to be forever at Pembroke. Football has made me exactly who I am today, and I a testament and a credit everything to football. Football is the greatest team sport there is. If not every 11 man is doing their job, then everything fails. So it just the accountability that it holds up. And Coach Shinnick had a great thing, make great fathers, great husbands, and football does that. Football builds character. I've been playing the game since I was 5. I was fortunate enough to play for about 20 years. And then, a lot of people get to play that long, and so I was very blessed. But I swear to that, there's 100% football is the reason I am the father I am, the reason I am the husband that I am, the reason that I hope the teammate that I was. To me, again, I go back to football being such a team sport. To me, there is no one individual award in football. I know one name goes on there, one position gets recognized a lot, but the greatest team is the reason because of this award. It wouldn't have happened because of them. All the way from my high school coaches, Cesar Campana and Coach Gentry, Coach Shinnick, Coach Deese. Those are the reason this happened. And I miss them, I love them, and I hope they're doing well. And but no, because of them, this is the reason. My family, making the sacrifices from traveling Murphy to Pembroke, I've never missing a game, and just mom, dad, I love you. My wife, my 2 sons, Bennett, Lath, Morgan, I love you, and this is an honor, well deserved, and I appreciate it. Go Braves.
You mentioned the name Luke Charles, and a competitor, a guy that really grew into the leadership role that we needed him to, as well as an amazingly hard worker. To come in and be a quarterback that took every snap in high school under center in the wing tee, and then to learn how to play in the shotgun, could not be prouder of him and his work ethic and leadership and what he was able to do. I think Luke is very deserving of this opportunity to be in the Hall of Fame based on really what he was able to accomplish, not only from a number of wins standpoint as a starting quarterback, number of yards and touchdowns and all of that, but really all the hard work that he put in to get to that place, because he really established himself early on as a guy that was willing to put in the extra effort, willing to do the extra work, and do all the little things that he needed to master the craft of being a great quarterback in our system. Congratulations, really proud of you. You've earned this. You did a lot of great things while you were leading our team. I'm proud to have the opportunity to coach you, and I'm really excited for you on this day. Congratulations.
A 1981 graduate from UNC Pembroke with a bachelor's degree, Council-Corbin earned all-conference honors for volleyball following the 1980 season, where she was recognized as the team's most dedicated player. A two-sport athlete, Council-Corbin picked up MVP honors during the 1980-81 basketball season. Council-Corbin was named the 2003 Conference Volleyball Coach of the Year at Southview High School and served as an assistant basketball coach where the team won the NCHS AA State Championship.
To be inducted into the UNC Pembroke Hall of Fame, to be selected as one of the best athletes is truly a honor and a privilege, and I am so grateful. I was at home when I got the phone call, and I could not believe what I was hearing on the other end. I almost dropped the phone, really. I say, what? I say, sir? I say that again? Because it was Dick, the one that called me, and I said, say that again? I said, oh, gracious. He said, oh, I said, oh, I am ecstatic. I am so honored. You know, Pembroke at that time, not now, it was a small college. And everybody knew everybody. And we had some long-lasting relationships. And, you know, everybody got along, and it was like a big, happy family. And going back to the classrooms, the professor, he knew everybody by name. He or she knew everybody by name. And, you know, I like that. I like that. And it's a number of people that I would like to thank, to name. First, giving honor to God, who is first in my life in all that I do. I like to thank my parents and my brothers for their love and support. My husband, Dan, who is my backbone. I love him and I appreciate him. Tracy Johnson and David Lewis, thank you for your encouragement and your love and your support. And last but not least, I would like to thank the people who showed up tonight to support me and celebrate this honor with me.
Qualities that come to mind about Faye or Brenda, she's very kind. She's like a quiet assassin, very smooth, very silky, and she's efficient. She gets the job done. Faye is deserving of being inducted into the Hall of Fame because she's part of the legacy of the women's athletic program there at Pembroke. She laid the foundation. She was one of the first to get things started for us there. And she's such an excellent athlete, and she has family legacy there. I've been knowing Faye for years. She was actually at Pembroke prior to me coming in. Her senior year, I came in the next year as a freshman. So I do recall my senior year, they had a workout session where they invited seniors from all over to come in, and we had the opportunity to play against some of the current players. Well, I had to guard Faye. And my memory was we were playing pickup basketball, and there was a closeout. A pass came to her, and I had to close out to guard her. Well, I went to close out to guard her, and when she elevated for her jump shot, I was staring at her kneecaps. So immediately in my mind, I was like, whoa, I've never seen that before. I don't know how I'm gonna guard this lady, but you know, I had to kind of calm myself after that. But that is my fondest memory of her and knowing how excellent an athlete she is.
After logging more than 5,600 minutes on the pitch, Forsman helped anchor the defense for the Braves, holding opponents to just 80 goals in her 72 games played. A 3-time All-Peach Belt Conference selection, 2-time NSCAA All-Region selection, 2-time NCCSIAL State honoree, Forsman registered 10 goals and 8 assists while starting in 60 matches.
It means a lot to be inducted to the UNCP Hall of Fame. It means a lot that someone has wanted me to be in Hall of Fame and also to actually leave a mark at the UNCP women's soccer team. Some of the most memorable things playing at UNCP would actually be traveling with the team, being away for games, but also like all the normal afternoons training and being with the team, running 120s with the coach, and all the friendships that I've made. It took maybe half a year to actually make it feel like home, but after you got the culture under your skin, how we trained with the soccer team, coach became a part of a family because you don't have any other people over there. It made me feel like home the first time I came back from Christmas break. That was like, okay, I'm going back home. And it's because of all the people over there and also the school. The school was great. It's big enough, but still a small campus. And it was easy to actually like be a part of the school and the soccer team. I missed those 4 years. Of course, I would like to thank Coach and Coach Anderson and Coach P that was there at that time, especially Lars. That was what I called him when I was there, and that was a bit weird for a lot of people, but he made it all worth it, and he's the reason why I've had those great 4 years. And also my family, of course, and now my husband, but at that time, Coach was the most important person when I was over in Pembroke.
Well, Fanny is one of the best center backs that I've ever coached, and I've done this for 29 seasons, both on the men's and women's side. She was a phenomenal leader. She was a great technical player. She had an enormously high fitness level, and she had a calm about her when she played that really made her stand out from the very get-go. She's without a doubt one of the best players overall that I've coached, and she's certainly one of the best center backs. I think Fanny is deserving on so many levels. She was an outstanding player, and like I said, at that time when we were in the Peach Belt, the conference that was considered the top 3 women's soccer conference in Division II year in and year out. And in my opinion, and I think Jay Antlick, my good friend down at Columbus State, will back this up. He would always say Fanny is the best D2 center back that I've ever seen. So on the field, her play speaks for itself. Her leadership skills, obviously tough to see from the outside, but having been on the inside, I knew how important Fanny was for the success of the team. And her freshman season, she was the one year that she really didn't stand out. She came in injured, and she told me that she was injured, actually asked me if I wanted to wait a year to sign her. She came and she kind of limped through that first season, and I brought her in and said, I know how good you are, but your freshman year isn't going to be good enough. It's got to be better than that. And I think Fanny, the competitor, I'd like to think I lit a fire, and I think maybe she got a little angry, even though I knew she was injured. But I wanted to make sure that she understood that when I signed her, the expectation was more than what we got out of her, freshman year. And the following 3 seasons, she was all conference 3 times. She was all region 3 times. And again, she was one of the best center backs in not only in our conference, but in the country. But I think that conversation, I've always tried to be very straightforward with my players. I think I use the term brutal honesty. I just think that leads to better results in the end. And that was a tough conversation to have because I knew how good she was, and I knew she'd been injured, but I needed to make sure she understood that whatever you have to do to get better, to heal yourself and be ready to go. And I can recall that conversation very clearly, and I think the end result was very good.
A pioneer for women's athletics, Webb was the first women's basketball coach and tennis coach of the Title IX era. Both sports were added in time for the 1974-75 academic year. Webb was at the helm of the Braves basketball team for 2 seasons, where she posted an 18-17 record. Webb took over the women's tennis program in 1974 and logged a .369 winning percentage over 13 seasons. Coach Webb sadly passed away this September at the age of 90. Speaking on her behalf tonight is her stepson, Adam Ipock.
Very, very independent lady and very, very determined. You know, Ann was a true pioneer for women's athletics back in the 70s when, during the Title IX days and things like that. She was a true pioneer of women's athletics, and I think she paved the way for other female athletes in the future. You know, just a story, she married my dad when she was 65 years old. She had been a single lady on her own, and she inherited an entire family when she did that. Myself, my sister, and my brother, and the grandchildren, and she truly considered those children her grandchildren. We are just so very proud, and she was proud and very appreciative. You know, unfortunately, it was towards the end of her life that we were able to tell her. And I personally told her myself, and you could just see the twinkle in her eye. She was very, very humbled and very appreciative that UNCP was recognizing all the contributions that she had made to the university. She spoke fondly of UNCP and her time there. And she must have made a real positive difference because there were several of her student athletes that kept up with her all through the years. That's actually how we came to know about this. Is one of them reached out to me on Facebook to let me know. Obviously, towards the end, Ann was not utilizing email, Facebook or anything like that. And this lady was just trying to get in touch and just took a guess that Adam Ipock was her stepson.
Miss Webb was a very empathetic, knowledgeable about the sport. I very dedicated and totally committed. I believe that she's deserving of that because she along with Miss Ellen Bryant were two of the people that started the women's athletic program at UNCP. At that time, it was named Pembroke State University. That's one of the things. And like I said, she was encouraging people all the time, galvanized the team. She knew when to have, push us. She also knew when to inspire us. I am the great-granddaughter of Oscar Sampson, who was a co-founder of this great university. I know that if he were alive, he would be as proud of her as I am for her dedication and commitment to the school. When, it's sort of hard. When she was inducted into the Hall of Fame, she was told that she had been inducted. She was very happy about that. I wish that she had been given the honor earlier, but I take heart in knowing that she was told and that she knew before she died. I say Godspeed to you in your heavenly journey, Miss Webb, and all the cherished memories that we will have forever in our hearts.
Taley Hunt graduated from UNCP in 2018 with a degree in communications and in 2020 with her MBA. She also served as Miss UNCP 2018 and is a member of the Beta chapter of Alpha Pi Omega Sorority Incorporated. Taley worked in the UNCP Office of Admissions as the Assistant and Senior Director of Undergraduate Admissions. She and her husband Jordan and daughter Reese live in Columbia, South Carolina, where she has launched an impressive career in the real estate industry. Currently, Taley serves as the Chief Executive Officer at Taley Hunt Home Group, where her innovative approach and dynamic leadership have led to remarkable advancements. Taley is a CEO, founder, real estate agent, coach, speaker, and toddler mom. Taley embodies the spirit of the Young Alumna of the Year award through her exemplary career, unwavering community service, and steadfast support of UNCP.
I chose to attend UNCP because I really felt like there was more of an opportunity for community and for experience. I was a product of the public schools of Robeson County, and I think like a lot of young kids at that age, you are a teenager, you really want to be as far away from your parents as possible. And so there was always one side of me that wanted to just get away from home. But I remember visiting the campus several times and actually meeting with admissions staff. And they showed me that the opportunity that I had to go to a university and an institution that doesn't just think about you as a number was the best opportunity that I could take for my education. And it really was. It made all the difference, I believe. And it was a combination of the fact that UNCP was historical and close, as a part of being a part of the Lumbee tribe, as well as just the opportunity for an intimate learning environment that I knew I couldn't really get anywhere else. I'm very proud to have graduated from UNCP for several reasons. One, because it's a legacy for my family. My grandma graduated from here, my dad. I remember working here as an employee, and my papa would come, and I specifically remember he would bring me buckets of grapes that he had taken off somebody's vine in town, and he would come and see me. And it was so much fun to be able to be a part of something that felt personal. There's not any other institution in the country that I could have gone to that would have made me feel personal. It makes me almost emotional. I'm proud to have graduated from there because I can see the impacts in the education, the formal education that I had, and the experiential learning that I got working and being at UNCP in my day-to-day life today. I think there is a level of professionalism that I have now that I wouldn't have had I not gotten the experience that I did there. And I really do believe that UNCP is more about who you are and what your name is and what you want and what you need versus let's just get people in the door and get them to graduate because numbers matter. And I'm very proud to be a part of an institution that takes pride in, the success of their students.
When you mention Taley, I think of a strong, passionate, courageous leader who takes a lot of ownership for her community, for the people that she represents, and whether that's in her business or in her community or her friends or her family. I think of someone who's compassionate and sees the need that people have and tries to the best of her ability to meet that need. And again, that happens whether she's in her real estate business, in her community, in her family, with her friends. She's always thinking about what can I do to make sure that people's needs are met. And I think that's what's made her so successful in her real estate business, is that she really takes a lot of ownership for the work that she does in a way that shows compassion and helps people think about what would meet their best needs and how can she be of help to them. And I think that's who she's been since she was a student when I first met her, and that's who she is now as an adult. Some of my fondest memories of Taley are the times that she was talking with other people about what it means to serve. Taley started working in the Office for Community and Civic Engagement in her freshman year. And then we were having some, preliminary conversations about what does it mean to be of service to others. Taley was pretty well known in our community, and we had a lot of conversations about what it means to create a name for herself instead of maybe, operating in the shadows of, famous parents, who are well known in our community, or grandparents. And how is Taley going to create a legacy that she could be proud of? And Taley took that to heart, and she started thinking about what does it mean to be a servant leader, and how can I make the biggest impact on our campus? Taley and I traveled to California together. We traveled to Massachusetts, and we would do presentations about ways that we have built partnerships in the community to benefit our students and community. So Taley was taking the work that she was doing on campus and showcasing it nationally. She was always thinking about, what can I do to make a difference in my community, on my campus, and then how can I inspire and motivate others to do the same?
Christine Sides Fisher retired in 2019 from the SC Arts and Basic Curriculum after serving as executive director for 20 years. Under her leadership, the program grew to serve 84 schools or districts and 171,000 students in her last year before her retirement in the 2018-19 academic year. In 1998, she was named the South Carolina Teacher of the Year, representing a total of 47,000 teachers in the Palmetto State, and is the only music teacher to ever hold that honor. She is the recipient of the 2006 Elizabeth O'Neill Verner's Governor Award, and in 2012, Winthrop University inducted her into the prestigious Medal of Honor in Art Society.
I chose it because it was a small college. I liked that they were really friendly when we went down and looked. My dad had died suddenly with a heart attack beginning of my senior year in high school, and I was really reticent to even leave my mom and leave my little brother. We were just devastated, but she made me go, and I cried all the way. But Pembroke was just a very loving and open place. They just built the new dorms. It was something that we could afford to a certain extent, and it was just a really warm, inviting, loving place. I majored in music, and we had some of the greatest music folks who came. They didn't stay all the time, but they came and they were just amazing musicians and teachers, and I learned so much from them. Jerry Coker was a world-renowned saxophone player, and he played jazz and had all of these different jazz people coming in and playing, and we got to play with all these different folks and getting different spins on life and how to do this and that, and learned so much from him. But then we had these other great people that came in right behind, where you learned all of these other different types of music and how to play and to do. And every time anybody moved or left, Pembroke was able to bring in somebody else just as fine, but with a different spin. And we had just really amazing, caring people who wanted us to succeed.
Well, she and I go back until 1970. We were in the chemistry class at Asheboro High School under the tutelage of Donna Frankelmont, and she was my lab partner. But she's always been humble and sincere, and a type of person that you feel like friends for life. Christine deserves this award more than anybody I probably ever dealt with. I dealt in alumni relations at Wingate University, and she has done so much in the state of South Carolina. Her list of accomplishments go forever. But the thing I'm most touched by is the fact that she single-handedly got the South Carolina arts, high schools and public schools in South Carolina, got them involved in the arts with the Arts Council. And that not only includes dance, but music, and she has touched so many people. I think when she retired in 2018-2019 academic year, it was an outreach of 171,000 students were under some type of this arts program that she was in charge of as executive director for 20 years. and something like 98 different schools she'd reached out to. So all of upstate South Carolina, Midlands of South Carolina, Low Country of South Carolina, the Grandstand, the PD of South Carolina, they're kids that have been touched and will be touched. The music and the arts, dance will be an integral part of their lives from now on. What Christine has done is it exposed South Carolinians, people in the public schools, to dance, to art, to music. And in a lot of ways, it will make them a more well-rounded person. There may be students that she has touched and will touch in the future with these programs that she's implemented that will be another Christine Sides Fisher.
Carlos Berdecia, a 2001 graduate, served as commander of the 437th Operations Group Joint Base in Charleston, South Carolina, in the United States Air Force. Additionally, Colonel Carlos Berdecia was commander of the 58th Airlift Squadron, the largest and busiest C-17A operations group in the U.S. Air Force. The Puerto Rico native earned a commission from the Reserve Officers Training Corps program at UNCP and was an ROTC distinguished graduate. Berdecia's family has more than a century of combined military service. Berdecia was responsible for 800 personnel, 3 flying squadrons, and 1 operational support squadron that provided combat-ready air crews for 40 assigned C-17 Globemaster III cargo aircraft. Berdecia retired after a 25-year career with the United States Air Force and is now a pilot with United Airlines. While a student, he was a captain on the baseball team and president of Phi Kappa Tau. Carlos served as a headliner in UNCP's 2022 Fall Speaker Series.
I apologize that I can't be there. Unfortunately, work, my second career, is taking a priority right now, and while I thought I was going to be able to squeeze by, the 25th is actually my birthday, so it would have been the perfect birthday present to be there along with you receiving this distinguished award. But I want to take this time to express my gratitude to the committee, to all the people who had anything to do with this award, to UNCP family as a whole, from the faculty down to the workers, down to the teams, down to the marketing, down to Pembroke as a whole. It is part of my DNA. I proudly have my degree in my office everywhere that I go, and I hope to inspire those future Braves if I have that opportunity. If I'm being very frank with you, I'm first generation college graduate, and I didn't have the guidance that I needed to go to larger colleges or fully understand exactly what each college specialty was. And so at the time, the only thing that I really had was baseball. And so I had a fantastic coach who is a Pembroke State alumnus, and so he guided me and said, hey, you can start at Pembroke, see if you like it. If you don't, you can go somewhere else. You can use it as a 2-year college, or you can go ahead and stay there for 4 years, whatever you desire, but just know that there's an opportunity that's pretty close. So not having the guidance from home and baseball being kind of my priority at those younger ages, I went ahead and tried out Pembroke. And it was fantastic from the get-go. Finding out that I was even in the running for this distinguished award is extremely humbling. I've done a lot of things in my life. I've accomplished a lot of things that others haven't. I've been blessed to see good. I've been blessed to see bad, and this is one of the good ones that goes down on my list of things that I accomplished in this lifetime. And so, as you heard earlier, I am a proud Brave. This could have gone to any other UNCP alumnus that is doing great things out there. And for me to be nominated today just shows how much UNCP means to me, and how greatly honored I am to be part of this UNCP family. UNC Pembroke offers a little bit of something for everyone. And whether you're looking for the education piece, the personal piece, the development piece, the locality piece, as far as being close to home, the athlete piece, the certification pieces. I've been blown away with what Pembroke has done since I graduated in 2001. It's grown tremendously. And so there's an avenue for every single person to excel there at UNC Pembroke. So when someone tells me, why Pembroke, I'll go back to the previous questions and say, your faculty will know your name. They'll know when you skip class. They'll know when you're doing good, and they'll praise you when you're doing good. They'll be there for you and guide you when you're doing bad or need that extra help. Some things that you don't necessarily get at larger colleges.
Qualities I think of when I think of Carlos Berdecia is integrity, of a man that has served his country for 20 plus years in the roles he played in my life and the things he's done at this university. He's just an amazing individual. In a casual setting, something that you might not recognize from Carlos is how much of a teddy bear he is. He's a commanding presence. He's a colonel or retired colonel in the Air Force. He commands the room. But when you need him or when you converse with him or even in the most subtle of situations, he is that individual that will show empathy, will talk to you as a supportive, nurturing individual that, just embodies some of the characteristics we hope to instill here at UNCP. Through our ties through Phi Kappa Tau, we are lifelong brothers through that organization, but throughout the years we've kept in contact through great times, sad times. There have definitely been some crises that we've worked through. He's become an immediate big brother or uncle to my son. And it's just that kind of relationship that, just doesn't end when the phone hangs up or when you're out of contact for a while. It's a lifelong brotherhood.